You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. NL Eastern Divisional matchup coming up next between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Washington Nationals. Steven Strasburg on the mound, one of the best pitchers in the National League this year, going up against the leader in home runs on the Phillies, Bryce Harper. Now Steven Strasburg on the mound, 11-2 in 19 starts, has the second most wins in the National League. Has one of the lowest ERAs and also leads the NL in strikeouts with 154. And with Strasburg on the mound, Gene Segura will come up to the plate for the Phillies. 262 hitter with 5 home runs and 30 RBIs entering play. Segura, a former Milwaukee Brewer, Seattle Mariner, now playing with the Phillies. Now the Nationals entering play are 53 and 42. They're first in the NL East. They've lost some ground, though, on the Marlins and the Braves, who are second and third in the division. The Phillies had a poor month of June. In May, the Phillies were competing with the Nationals for first place, and then June hit. The Phillies went on an 11-game losing streak in the middle of the month. They just didn't do very well. They fell back to the point where the Mets have tied them periodically in the first couple weeks of July for fourth place. Out to right field, there's Michael Taylor. He makes the catch. And with one out, we'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Phillies. See Andrew McCutchen playing center field now. Adam Hazley had a season-ending injury a couple months back, so McCutchen now the center fielder. Everybody else in the lineup pretty much standard. This is almost the same team it was last season. The Phillies broke even last year with a team that had been projected to do so much more as that pitch misses outside. The Phillies last season finished fourth in the NL East behind the Mets, the Nationals, and the Braves. Of course, the Marlins had the worst record in the National League last season, so Phillies weren't that bad, but the NL East was still very competitive. Be that as it may, the Phillies had quite a 2018-19 offseason, and it was a disappointment not only to fans of Philadelphia, but also to fans among Major League Baseball. A disappointment that the Phillies didn't make playoffs at all. Phillies finished second to last in their division last season, and now they're in fourth place again at this point in the season. 2-ball, 1-strike count. Swing and a miss counts 2-2. Now, admittedly, some injuries stifled the Phillies last season, like David Robertson had to get season-ending surgery on his arm. Andrew McCutchen hurt his leg to the point where he was out for the rest of the season. So there are those issues that have set them back late in the season. But still, with Real Muto behind the plate, Bryce Harper, their newly signed right fielder, there were higher expectations on them that weren't met. Inside, the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on the former National League Most Valuable Player. Andrew McCutchen won it in 2013, and that man in the on-deck circle, Bryce Harper, the National League's Most Valuable Player of 2015. Full count pitch from Strasburg. Popped up. There's Juan Soto. He makes the catch. That's out number 2. So now 2 outs, top of the first inning. Strasburg had 10 pitches early on. And with that, Bryce Harper will come to the plate. Harper batting .259 with 17 home runs and 50 RBIs entering play. 6th in the National League in All-Star voting. It's been a while since Harper hadn't made an All-Star game. He was a perennial All-Star ever since the end of his rookie year in 2012. In 2013, he started the All-Star game in center field, and he was a reoccurring player. But this season, his numbers just aren't cutting it. And just talking about the bar for the Phillies as a team, Bryce Harper has the most home runs on the Phillies with 17. The bar in the National League is set by Ronald Acuna Jr., who has 35 home runs entering today. So the Phillies don't really have the power numbers this season. They've been a team getting by on veteran players making contact and driving in runs the old-fashioned way, but at the same time, they're still struggling. Entering play, the Phillies 43-51 and they're 9.5 games back in the NL East. 1-1 pitch inside, counts 2-1. Now zeroing in on Bryce Harper specifically, the Phillies made a huge investment in Harper. Harper signed the biggest free agent contract in sports history. A 13-year, $330 million contract. Passing Alex Rodriguez's record of 10 years, $275 million. 3-ball, 1-strike pitch. Swing and a miss, counts full 3-2. And in that same 2018-2019 offseason, the San Diego Padres made a large investment as well in a different player, Manny Machado, who signed a 10-year, $300 million contract with the Padres. 3-ball, 2-strike pitch. That's low. Ball 4. 2-out walk issued to Bryce Harper.
Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 17, Rhys Hoskins.
So 2-out stop of the first inning. That'll bring up Rhys Hoskins. He's done well at getting on base. Has the second most walks in the National League with 64. He's also on a 7-game hitting streak entering play. Now, to field that question, who do you think makes it for the Phillies from the Phillies? My answer would be JT Realmuto. He's been putting up consistent numbers this year, and his average is at least pretty good. So if I had one choice, I'd pick Realmuto to make the roster and potentially start. I don't know how many other catchers there are in the National League who are healthy and who could qualify past Realmuto. Ground ball left side, played by Trey Turner. Throws to Eric Thames. That's out number 3. The top of the first inning is over. The Nationals get no runs on no hits, 1 walk in the inning, and 1 runner left on base after a half inning. It's the Phillies 0 and the Nationals coming to bat. On the mound for the Phillies, it's Zach Eflin. Eflin 7-6 in 18 starts. Has a 5.04 ERA in 96 1/3 innings pitched. Well, by his record, you'd think he's a pretty decent starter, but his ERA proving that he struggles at limiting runs against him. Here's Trey Turner, 302 hitter entering play. And he's likely to start the All-Star game at shortstop for the National League. Take strike 1 there, but Turner has put up great numbers this season. Has always been a consistent hitter, so not surprising that he's entering play, batting .302 with 14 home runs and 49 RBIs. Helping out with run production as well. He's second on the Nationals in RBIs with 49, and the leader for the Nationals is Eric Thames with 66 runs batted in this season. No ball, 2-strike pitch. Ooh, look out. Counts 1-2. Zach Eflin, one of the younger pitchers on this Phillies team that hasn't quite blossomed, though he's familiar with being on the Major League roster. Trey Turner tried to check his swing, but according to the home plate umpire, he committed. That's out number 1. That'll bring up Starlin Castro, who has a significantly better average against left-handed pitching. But evened out, he has a .238 average, 7 home runs and 27 RBIs. Castro, former Chicago Cub, New York Yankee, and Miami Marlin, just signed with the Nationals this past offseason. And with Asdrubal Cabrera struggling a bit, Castro has gotten to start at third base. Offensively, he's done well, and there hasn't been too many notices of him making errors over at the hot corner. Part of the reason why he's still in the lineup. Toward right field, and foul. Count 1-2, Castro behind. No score early on in this one. This is NL East baseball between the Phillies and the Nationals. Hoskins able to run that one down. That's out number 2. So 2 outs, bottom of the first inning, and with that, here's the starting lineup for the Nationals, the reigning World Series champions. Castro, one of the newer pieces to this team, as is Eric Thames. They both signed this past offseason. Everybody else, though, has been on the roster before. And many of those players were part of that World Series champion team last season with the Nationals. And here was one of the more impactful players, not only in the World Series, but in the entire 2019 Nationals season. It's Juan Soto. One of the best disciplined hitters, especially for his age. Just turned 21. Or let me rephrase that. He turned 21 in October of 2019. Still a young player, though, and starting every day for the Nationals out in left field. Great disciplined hitter, which helps out his on-base percentage, and in turn helps out his average and home run count as well. Very likely to see him in the All-Star game. Juan Soto, very valuable to this Nationals team. The Nationals hoping they can keep him around. There's Scott Kingery. He makes the catch, and the first inning has come to an end. The Nationals go down quickly against Zach Eflin, 1-2-3. And after one full inning, still no score here at Nationals Park. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Phillies in this half inning. It's JT Realmuto, the first to bat. And he'll be followed by Didi Gregorius and Jay Bruce. Realmuto, a contender to participate in the All-Star game for the National League. So it's Saturday, and the All-Star game coming up on Tuesday. Can't believe we're already just about 3 days away from seeing the All-Star game in 2020. And we'll be covering it here on Major League Baseball's virtual network, so keep that in mind as well. Out to left field, Juan Soto able to run that one down. That's out number 1 here in the top of the second inning, and with that, we'll look at the defense for the Nationals. Juan Soto out in left, Victor Robles in center, Michael Taylor in right, Starlin Castro playing third, Trey Turner at short, Howie Kendrick in second, Eric Thames at first, and Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. And here's Didi Gregorius. Gregorius starting at shortstop for the Phillies in this game. He's also been the starting shortstop for most of this season. Former New York Yankee, hit free agency, but the Yankees committed to signing Garrett Cole, so they did not renew Didi Gregorius' contract, and they moved the players they already have around. So LeMahieu now at second. Torres moved from second to short. Gregorius joins one of his former managers, Joe Girardi, now managing the Philadelphia Phillies. Second major league club he's managed besides the New York Yankees. But in his first year, managing a Phillies team that's looking to turn it around. The Phillies had Gabe Kapler as their manager, but he was unable to help their losing ways. So now Girardi tasked with turning the Phillies around. Strasburg already leads the National League in strikeouts, but he gets one there on Didi Gregorius, adding to his National League leading total. Now here's Jay Bruce, 2 outs, top of the second, bases empty. Bruce, 214 hitter with 11 home runs and 34 RBIs entering play. He's gotten significantly more playing time ever since Adam Hazley got put on the injured list. So Bruce, instead of being on the bench, is now playing left field, and Andrew McCutchen shifted from left field to center field. No ball, 2-strike count. And he got a piece of that ball. Thames able to play it, though, at first base. And that ends the top of the second. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on for the Phillies after 1.5 innings. Still no score here at Nationals Park. Middle of the order due up for the Nationals when we come back. And we're back. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. And as mentioned just a moment ago, middle of the order is coming up for the Nationals. Eric Thames, Howie Kendrick, and Kurt Suzuki. Zach Eflin threw 13 pitches in that first inning, got the Nationals out 1-2-3. Now Eric Thames, the one leading off this bottom of the second inning, and that one's hit well into right field. Bryce Harper seems to have a play, though. He does make the catch. 2 pitches, 1 out to start the bottom of the second inning, and with that, we'll take a look at the starting defense for the Phillies. Jay Bruce out in left, Andrew McCutchen in center, Bryce Harper out in right, Scott Kingery playing third, Didi Gregorius at short, Gene Segura at second, Rhys Hoskins at first and behind the plate. Reigning Gold Glove Award winner for National League catchers, JT Realmuto. Now here's Howie Kendrick.
Ball 1, no strike.
That's a ball, counts 1-0. Howie Kendrick, 301 hitter entering play. Still as good of a player, at least in terms of his offense, as he was when he played for the Angels and the Dodgers. But pops out quickly. Gene Segura able to make that catch. So now 2 outs, bottom of the second inning, and here comes Kurt Suzuki. Suzuki, 277 hitter with 7 home runs and 23 RBIs. Suzuki turned out to be a great signing for the Nationals a few seasons ago. A veteran catcher, been around a few teams, but did well for the Nationals last year, both offensively and defensively. And he was a key to them making a comeback late in the year, earning that wild card spot. And he did decently in the postseason as well. 1-0 count, Zach Eflin pitching to the Nationals catcher. Counts 2-0. The Nationals, reigning World Series champions, had a magical run last season, and I mentioned that they made a late season comeback last year. They had come back. Not only did they clinch a wild card spot, they clinched the home wild card spot and went on to blow through the Dodgers, who had won 106 games in the division series. They swept the Cardinals in the championship series and then won against the Astros in the World Series in 7 games. Suzuki pops out, second inning over. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on. After 2 full innings, the Phillies and the Nationals still tied at 0. Oh, there's Heidi Watney. She's practicing lip syncing, but 2020 pitching stats for the Nationals, graphic you see on your screen. The Nationals as a team, judging by their ranks, they've been mediocre in several categories. Strikeouts are a different story, and that's a big reason right there. That guy who was just to the left of that graphic, Steven Strasburg, who leads the National League in strikeouts entering play. But other than that, nothing too special about the Nationals bullpen. I mean, you still got a strong back end in Daniel Hudson, Hunter Strickland, and Sean Doolittle. And the rotation is topped off by Steven Strasburg and Max Scherzer. But other than that, we've just got some veterans and some younger pitchers in the mix. We're just getting the job done. Nothing too spectacular. Kingery down quickly. Strasburg gets the strikeout, his second of the game. Kingery just looked lost in that at bat. No discipline there on 0-2, and he chases that breaking ball. So 1 out. Top of the third, here's Zach Eflin. Oh man, I forgot about a name in the Nationals rotation. Man, I just remembered Strasburg and Scherzer off the top of my head, but yeah, they have Patrick Corbin now too. And Eric Ledford, when you said the Nationals pitching was awesome in the playoffs, yeah, Patrick Corbin, exactly. He was a huge signing for the Nationals last year. They seem to always be a pitcher away, and the Nationals, with not signing Harper, they had more room to spend in different areas, and they spent bolstering their pitching rotation, which had the top 3 guys: Strasburg, Scherzer, and Corbin. Left side, Castro, barehanded play, throws to Thames. That's out number 2. So 2 outs, top of the 3rd. Top of the order coming back up for the Phillies. It's Gene Segura. Segura 0 for 1 at the top of the order. Strasburg working quickly, as is Zach Eflin on the other side. These first 3 innings moving along rather quickly. That's toward left. Soto there, he makes the catch, and the top of the 3rd inning is over. So the Phillies can't score in the top of the 3rd inning. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on base. After 2.5 innings, still no score at Nationals Park. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for the Nationals in this half inning. Victor Robles, Michael Taylor, and then Steven Strasburg in the pitcher spot. Yeah, even Anibal Sanchez. And you know, I read something on Facebook about a year back that I thought was kind of sad. And this is just to bring up the Tigers organization. Not that they're relevant to this matchup, but I had read something that said all of the prominent starters from the Tigers' 2011 through 2013 seasons, or 2011 to 2015 seasons, have all ended up winning a World Series with different teams. Like David Price, pitched for the Tigers for some time in 2015. He won with the Red Sox. Anibal Sanchez and Max Scherzer, former Tiger pitchers, won with the Nationals in 2019. Justin Verlander won with the Astros in 2017. No matter how legitimate you think that is, technically he's still a World Series champion with them. And I just found that fascinating and how true it was. And I feel bad for the Tigers because the Tigers spent money in the early 2010s and put together some championship caliber teams. Just couldn't get it done. Made the World Series once and got swept by the Giants. Full count on Victor Robles. High fly ball toward left field. Jay Bruce under it. He makes the catch. That's the first out of the bottom of the 3rd inning. And class of 2020, I'd just like to say hi, since you said hi first. Thanks for joining us and watching baseball. So 1 out, bottom of the 3rd inning. That'll bring up Michael Taylor. 231 hitter with 3 home runs and 24 RBIs entering play. Taylor starting primarily because Adam Eaton got traded back in late April.
1-0.
Adam Eaton was an important part of that World Series champion team last year as well. But the Rangers were in need of some outfield help since Joey Gallo was on the injured list early in the season. He's back now, but Eaton starting over now with the Rangers, a team that is just struggling this season in the AL West. Scott Kingery over to Rhys Hoskins. That's out number 2 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And with that, the number 9 spot in the order comes up for the Nationals. It's Steven Strasburg. Strasburg, .94 average, so he has a few hits, just not very many, and the few times he's gotten to bat. That's strike 1.
0-1.
No ball, 1 strike count.
0-1.
It's upstairs, counts 1-1. Yeah, well, when you look at that season, you look at the Expos as a team, I mean, they just were not destined to stay around. And not that I had anything against the Expos, and I wasn't even, very old when their team was moved to become the Nationals, but they just seemed destined to fail, which is upsetting to say for all the Montreal fans who like the team, but there were just some bad moves made. Even after the 94 season, they just didn't collect themselves well, and from a business perspective and from a development perspective, they just failed in so many aspects of running that team, and that's part of the reason why it moved. Strasburg out to McCutchen in center. That's a fly out that ends the 3rd inning. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on for the Nationals after 3 full innings. Still no score at Nationals Park. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for the Phillies in this Top half of the fourth inning, Andrew McCutchen, Bryce Harper, and Rhys Hoskins. As mentioned before, Andrew McCutchen, a former most valuable player in the National League. He won it with the Pirates in 2013. Also a former Gold Glove Award winner in center field. That's where he's playing now. He signed with the Phillies in the 2018-2019 offseason. He signed a 3-year, $50 million deal. And he was originally supposed to play left field. That's back when the Phillies had Odubel Herrera, who was playing center. Then this season, Adam Hazley, a young outfielder, was going to take the reins in center field, but he had a season-ending injury. He tore his labrum a couple months back. And with that, McCutchen was shifted from left to center. And Jay Bruce has been regularly playing now instead of being a bench bat. Jay Bruce now regularly starting out in left. So a new look for the Phillies outfield that looked differently just 3 years ago. With Nick Williams in right, Odubel Herrera in center, and Rhys Hoskins in left. Now you have Bryce Harper in right, Andrew McCutchen in center, and Jay Bruce in left. 3-2 pitch coming to McCutchen. That's down low, ball 4. Strasburg has now walked a couple batters. Neither team has a hit yet. With that, Bryce Harper will come to the plate. Harper, facing his former team, had played with the Nationals from 2012 until 2018, and then signed the large contract with the Phillies in the 18-19 offseason. Harper, a former first overall draft pick by the Nationals back in 2010, then made his debut 2 years later. Won Rookie of the Year in 2012, was a perennial All-Star from 2013 to 2018. Won the Most Valuable Player Award in 2015, Home Run Derby champion in 2018. Not a double play there. Great effort by Thames to slide and try to smoothly get that ball to second base. And he did get out. He did get an out on the play anyway. McCutchen out at second, but Harper beats out the back end at first. So 1 out, top of the fourth inning, and here's the cleanup hitter for the Phillies, Rhys Hoskins. 240 hitter with 12 home runs and 55 RBIs. Hoskins, a former Home Run Derby participant as well. He participated in 2018 with Bryce Harper, the year Harper won the Home Run Derby. And it's a good storyline for Harper. In his final season with the Nationals, Harper won the Home Run Derby at his home field, because the Nationals hosted the All-Star Game in 2018. That was only the third time in history that a Home Run Derby participant had won in his home ballpark. It's a pretty cool moment, you know, for sports in general. As that's up the middle, Hoskins with a hit. Robles comes up throwing. What a great arm Robles has, but Harper able to advance from first to third. Kendrick, not great reaction there, just out of his reach. And then Harper takes the turn for third there, and Robles with a plus arm out in center field. His throw was just late into third base. Now here's JT Realmuto, who takes ball 1. That was the first hit of the ball game, by the way, for either team. Strasburg had walked 2 previously, the only 2 runners that have reached base. Swing and a miss, the count's 1-1. Realmuto, the catcher of the Phillies. 2-1's the count. Realmuto, a former Miami Marlin, survived the 2017-2018 cleanout. Lasted 1 more year, but then got traded out of Miami. In the 2018-19 offseason, he was traded to the Phillies as a part of a slew of moves that the Phillies made to improve their team. That same offseason was the offseason that they signed McCutchen and Harper. The same offseason they traded for Gene Segura to play shortstop. Swing and a miss. The Marlins cleaned out. Phillies reaped some benefits, and the Phillies also made some good moves all in the same offseason, and they've improved upon their team. Though they still have some injuries. David Robertson's still on the injured list. He was signed in the 2018-2019 offseason, but injuries have stopped him from playing consistently or being their starting closer. Play made by Kendrick. Unfortunate for Real Muto. He lines out for the second out at the top of the fourth inning. So 2 outs, top of the fourth inning. Here comes Didi Gregorius. Former Cincinnati Red, Arizona Diamondback, and New York Yankee. Playing for his 4th Major League Baseball team. And a pivotal moment in this game. 2 on, 2 out, and that's up the middle. That's a base hit. Bryce Harper will score from third base as Robles gets that one in quickly. Hoskins moves from first to second, and Gregorius on board with an RBI single. It's 1-0 Phillies. I wonder what that pitch was again. It was a little bit lower in the zone, and Gregorius does well not to try to get under it. He stays on top of it. It's a sharp ground ball up the middle and gives his team a relatively early lead. Now here's Jay Bruce. Bruce has been around several teams. He most notably played for the Cincinnati Reds. He was their right fielder when the Reds were really good between 2010 and 2013. But he, like many other Reds players, declined. The team declined as a whole. And Bruce got dealt off to the Mets. He's also played for the Indians and the Mariners. Now part of a Phillies organization that's trying to turn things around. The Phillies haven't made playoffs in many years. Counts 0-2. Strike 3 on the swing. That ends the top of the fourth inning. Strasburg gives up a run, though, on a walk and a few hits. After 3.5 innings, it's 1-0. The Phillies lead the Nationals. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. Top of the order due up for the Nationals to begin the bottom of the fourth inning. Trey Turner, Starlin Castro, and Juan Soto all scheduled to bat. Trey Turner up to the plate, who's 0 for 1. As he rips that pitch to left field. There's no doubt about that one. This game tied. Phillies' lead doesn't last very long. Trey Turner has 15 home runs now this season. That was the first hit for the Nationals as well off Zach Eflin in this game. Well, you're looking at the likely starter at shortstop for the National League in the All-Star game. Belting one over the wall. That was his 50th RBI of the season as well. Driving it himself on a solo home run to lead off the bottom of the fourth inning. And now here's Starlin Castro. Castro fouls that one off. The count's 0-1. Both pitchers throwing efficiently in this one as well, at least through the first 3 innings. Strasburg ran into some road bumps in the top of the fourth inning, which cost him a run, but his offense supporting him. Trey Turner on one swing ties the game at 1. And now Castro up to the plate. He's quickly down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Past Starlin Castro. That's out number 1. And with that, here's the pitch speed comparison, sponsored by Topps. Zach Eflin and Steven Strasburg throwing roughly at the same velocity, 96 miles per hour on average. So 1 out, bottom of the fourth inning. Now here's Juan Soto up to the plate. Soto 0 for 1. He popped out in the first inning. Facing Zach Eflin for the second time this game.
0-1.
Also, this is game 2 of a 3-game series between these two teams. As Harper couldn't make the play. And a weird glitch there on the screen, but that'll go down as a single for Juan Soto. Not a routine play for Bryce Harper to try to make. And with 1 out in the bottom of the fourth inning, Eric Thames will come to the plate. Thames 0 for 1. off Zach Eflin so far as that pitch is fouled off. The count's 0-1. But to reiterate, this is game 2 of a 3-game series between these two teams. The Phillies won yesterday 12-1. This game tied at 1 in the bottom of the 4th inning, and this is the last series these two are playing in before the All-Star break. So every first half game will finish up tomorrow for every team that's playing. All 30 teams are expected to play tomorrow. No, I lied. 28 of the 30 teams are expected to play tomorrow, Sunday, to finish up the season. 2 teams that I can't recall off the top of my head aren't playing tomorrow. But then on Monday, the Home Run Derby will take place Monday, July the 13th, as well as the Futures game. The Futures game will be during the day. The Home Run Derby will be at night. And then on Tuesday, July the 14th, we'll have the All-Star game broadcasted here on MLB Virtual Network. So the All-Star break is approaching, and we're going to have a slew of games for you on the 15th and 16th. Even though there aren't any scheduled games, we'll have some for you, so don't worry about that. Counts 1-1 on Howie Kendrick. Two outs, bottom of the 4th inning. Swinging a foul ball. Counts 1-2 on Kendrick. Down low, the count's 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's a foul ball on the left field line, very close to being potential extra bases. But Kendrick doesn't catch a break. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Juan Soto on first. Line into center field. That one's a base hit. McCutchen gets that one in to the cutoff man, Gregorius. So Juan Soto on second. Howie Kendrick on first after hitting a single. And that'll bring up Kurt Suzuki. Take a look at this one more time. That pitch was just right over the plate. Kendrick's still aging, but can still handle pitches like that. Kurt Suzuki 0 for 1, standing in for the second time against Zach Eflin. Still relatively early in this one, but the Nationals have the potential go-ahead run in scoring position at second base. The Phillies took the lead in the top of the 4th inning, scoring a run on a few hits. The Nationals tied the game in this bottom of the 4th inning on a solo home run from Trey Turner. Also, Didi Gregorius responsible for the run batted in the top of the 4th inning. Suzuki down to the count quickly. That one's hit well out to right center. That ball's going to fall. Soto will score from second. Harper gets that one in, but they're sending the second runner around. The ball's cut off and held. Howie Kendrick scores from first base. And Kurt Suzuki's at second base with a 2-run double. Now the Nationals have a 2-run lead. It is 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Still 2 outs, and Victor Robles will come up to the plate. Runner in scoring position, still 2 outs. 3 runs in for the Nationals in this half inning. The Phillies had just taken the lead in the top of the 4th inning, but that lead did not last for long. One ball, no strike pitch.
Ball 2.
That's just a bit low. Counts 2-0.
2-0.
Victor Robles batting .179 with runners in scoring position this season. Robles, not primarily known for his offense or coming through in the clutch offensively, but he's one of the faster players in Major League Baseball, and he is a great defensive center fielder. One of the younger players on this Nationals team, and still has some potential to live up to. Got the green light on 3-0. Grounded to Gregorius. Throws to Hoskins. That's out number 3. But the Nationals get 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 run on the Trey Turner solo home run and 2 runs on the Kurt Suzuki double after 4 full innings. It's 3-1. The Nationals lead the Phillies. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. As we come into inning number 5, it's a 3-1 Nationals lead. Each team scored in the 4th inning, but the Nationals put up more than the Phillies did, and the Nationals have a 2-run lead. The Phillies will send their 8-9 hitters up to the plate in this half inning. Scott Kingery, Zach Eflin, and Gene Segura. Foul ball and strike 1 on Scott Kingery. He's a versatile player, can play several infield positions and also center field. He's a quick runner and has good contact abilities. The Phillies let Michael Franco go in free agency, which meant there was a spot open up at third base. Kingery, naturally a shortstop and one of the former top prospects in the Phillies system, but since third base was open, Kingery, since third base was open, Kingery has since filled that position, and he's been the primary third baseman for the Phillies so far this season. Foul ball, count still 1-2 on Kingery. Steven Strasburg still on the mound. Gave up a run last inning, but his offense backing him up. He's now pitching with a 2-run lead. Ground ball left side, played by Starlin Castro. Throws to Eric Thames. That's the first out of the top of the 5th. And we'll take a look at wins leaders now among National League pitchers. Steven Strasburg second, 1 behind Walker Buehler, who has 12. And if Strasburg can complete this inning, he will qualify for the win should the Nationals hold their lead while he's still on the mound. But this game's still quite a while from being finished. We're about halfway through this one at Nationals Park. But certainly not a foregone conclusion yet. Still have much baseball to play. Swing and a miss, counts 0-2. Zach Eflin Zach Eflin quickly down. No balls and 2 strikes. My goodness. Slip of the speech there. That pitch misses inside. Counts 1-2 on Eflin. The starter for the Phillies in this game. So far charged with 3 earned runs. All given up in the 4th inning. Check swing. And foul. Count 1-2. It's still 1-2. Eflin working this at bat a little more than you'd expect from a pitcher, but Strasburg finally wears him down. A foul-tipped strikeout. 4 now for Strasburg, and here are the ERA leaders entering play as well among National League pitchers. Steven Strasburg entering play had the 4th lowest ERA. That's also among pitchers that qualify. Relievers typically don't count because they don't pitch as much. But top of the order due up now for the Phillies, and you see Gene Segura in the box. Segura 5 for 20 off Strasburg lifetime with 1 extra base hit. This is game 2 of a 3-game series. We're right before the All-Star break. Counts 2-0. We'll have a schedule for you as well at the end of the night, so you can find out what teams are playing when. You'll also get an announcement about the future game rosters, the Home Run Derby roster. Well, it's not really a roster, just the Home Run Derby participants. And then the American League and National League All-Star rosters. That'll be coming up at some time, still undisclosed. But we plan to have that for you as soon as possible. It will be announced both on Twitter, and we'll have a YouTube announcement as well, just so everybody from each medium can have a way to find out. Strasburg gets the strikeout there. And that ends the top of the 5th inning. So no runs on no hits and nobody left on for Philadelphia. 4.5 innings through this one. It's 3-1. The Nationals lead the Phillies. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 8-9-1 hitters due up for the Nationals in this half inning. Michael Taylor, Steven Strasburg, and Trey Turner. Taylor 0 for 1. He grounded out in the third inning. He's 1 for 4 in this series, and his only hit was a home run. He was responsible for the only RBI the Nationals had last game. The Nationals lost yesterday to the Phillies 12-1. And on the first pitch, Taylor flies out to Jay Bruce in left. So a quick out for Eflin to begin the bottom of the fifth inning.
Now batting, the pitcher, Steven Strasburg.
So that'll bring up Steven Strasburg, the pitcher for the Nationals. Strasburg was another top draft pick for the Nationals. Strasburg made his Major League debut in 2009. Unfortunately, early in his career, he struggled with arm issues. Had to have surgery, and also he had been shut down on a few occasions, one of which was for the 2012 postseason. But he has since rebounded and doesn't have as much velocity on his fastball like he once did in his younger days. But he still found a way to pitch within himself that has made him one of the most successful pitchers in the National League and arguably in all of baseball. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch coming from Zach Eflin. That's outside. Counts even 2-2. Swing and a miss. Steven Strasburg down on strikes. That's the 4th strikeout for Eflin in this one. That's out number 2.
Shortstop, Trey Turner.
So now here's Trey Turner, who got the first run home for the Nationals last inning. He hit a solo home run.
Ball 1.
Takes ball 1 there. Counts 1-0. Trey Turner, just 1 hit now and 6 at-bats in this series. But an important one for this game. The Phillies scored in the top of the 4th inning. They got a run on a Didi Gregorius RBI single. The Nationals tied the game almost immediately in the bottom of the 4th with a Trey Turner solo home run, and then with a couple runners on, Kurt Suzuki hit a 2-run double. That made it 3-1 Nats, and that's where the score stands now. Line drive caught. Look at that. Scott Kingery with a wake-up call down at third. He was playing in, too, protecting against the bunt. But he's able to make the catch. Turner not too happy. But that's the end of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on for the Nationals. Through 5 full innings, it's 3-1. The Nats lead the Phils. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis, and that is Andrew McCutchen. 2-3-4 hitters due up for the Phillies in this half inning. Andrew McCutchen, Bryce Harper, and Rhys Hoskins. McCutchen, 3 for 5 in the series, contributed 2 RBIs in yesterday's 12-1 Philly win. This is game 2 of a 3-game series between these two teams. And the last 2 games these two will play in the first half of the season. I mean, it's quite hard to believe that the All-Star break is coming up. But we're 2 days away from the Home Run Derby, and we're 3 days away from the All-Star game. Keep your eyes open and your ears out for the Home Run Derby participants and the All-Star rosters. They'll be coming out sooner than you think. And we'll be posting them to Twitter and YouTube, so you'll be able to stay in the know. Strasburg gets his 6th strikeout of the game. He's up to 160 now in the season. Again, entering play, he was leading the National League, but just building upon that lead. 6 strikeouts in this game, 160 total now in the season. With that, here's Bryce Harper. Strasburg and Harper, both former first-round draft picks of the Nationals. In different years, though. Strasburg a bit older than Harper. And it is hard to believe with the Nationals core that they had. They made playoffs in 2012 and 2014. How they weren't able to win a World Series. Or even make it to the World Series, past the Division Series with players like Strasburg and Harper. No need to look back on those years now because the Nationals have won a World Series. They didn't do it with Harper, but they still did it for their franchise. Not to mention the added bonus of signing Steven Strasburg back in the offseason, so continuing to pitch in their rotation and continuing to be successful. That's fouled off the count, even 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball into right center. Victor Robles there. He makes the catch. And there are now 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning.
The first baseman, number 17, Reese Hoskins.
So 2 outs, top of the 6th inning. And here's Reese Hoskins. Hoskins 1 for 2. He got a hit off Steven Strasburg in the 4th inning, and he was also a part of that run scoring in the top of the 4th inning. Ground ball foul to count 1-1. Each pitcher threw 3 scoreless innings to open up their outings in the ball game, but the 4th inning, both pitchers gave up at least 1 run. Zach Eflin on the longer end of that, giving up 3 runs in the 4th inning. Phillies trailing by 2 in the top of the 6th. And Strasburg a strike away from pitching 6 full innings and giving up just 1 earned run. Got him to chase. Strasburg with 7 strikeouts now. And that strikeout ends the top of the 6th. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on for the Phillies. And after 5.5 innings, the Nationals have a 3-1 lead over the Phillies. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 2, 3, 4 hitters do it for the Nationals in this half inning. Starlin Castro, Juan Soto, and Eric Thames. Deolis Garcia and Ranger Suarez now warming up in the Phillies bullpen. Zach Eflin just 1 blemish. He threw 3 perfect innings. He got through the Nationals' order once without giving up a base runner. But immediately when Trey Turner came up to start the 4th inning, the bottom of the 4th, Turner hit a solo home run, which ended the perfect game, the no-hitter and the shutout. All on 1 swing as that's out to center. Catch made by McCutchen. That's out number 1. And that was fine for Eflin, but he ended up letting on more base runners. He gave up 2 runs on a Kurt Suzuki RBI double. And now he's on the bottom end of this game, losing by 2 runs, and if his team doesn't come back, he'd be in line for the loss. So the Phillies still have 3 more offensive chances to make up the deficit. It's also pending what the Nationals do on offense, but at the moment it's 2 runs. No ball, 1 strike count on Juan Soto. Young, talented outfielder for the Nationals. Counts even 1 ball and 1 strike. Juan Soto also known around baseball for doing the Soto shuffle just like that. He takes a pitch and he tries to get in the pitcher's head by doing crazy moves and having stare downs, which has gotten mixed reviews from baseball fans alike. But baseball is certainly going through a transition phase where it was once a classy gentleman's sport where everybody held their emotions in, but we're getting to that age now where players want to express themselves, and different ways. And Soto, a prime example of one of the players that enjoys being expressive with his body. Soto ends up striking out there, though. Zach Eflin has 5 strikeouts now. There are now 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Eric Thames. Thames, a former Toronto Blue Jay, spent some time playing in a foreign baseball league. Took a break. He played for the Blue Jays in 2012, then took a break, came back, earned a deal with the Brewers. He was their first baseman and sometimes played the outfield, but he was there from 2017 to 2019. And then this past offseason, he signed with the Nationals. Nationals go down 1-2-3. Thames grounds out to end the 6th inning. After 6 full innings, it's 3-1. The Nationals lead it. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Phillies when we come back. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. Top of the 7th coming around, and the 5, 6, 7 hitters are due up in the Phillies order. JT Realmuto the first to bat, and he takes strike 1.
0-1.
A couple of righties warming up in the Nats bullpen. Will Harris and Daniel Hudson. Will Harris used to pitch for the Astros, and he actually gave up a crucial home run to Howie Kendrick, which allowed the Nationals to take the lead in Game 7 of the 2019 World Series. Turned out to be the game-winning hit, though the Nationals did score later than that, but that gave the Nationals the lead. And they ended up winning Game 7 in the World Series. And Will Harris signed with the enemy in the offseason. Counts 0-2 on Realmuto, though. Steven Strasburg still on the mound, still under 100 pitches. He's getting close to 90, though. Got him swinging. That's out number 1. Strasburg has now struck out 8 batters.
The batter, the shortstop.
Steven Strasburg has 162 strikeouts. He now has a strikeout for every game in a full Major League season. He's just been on fire this season so far. Again, he entered play with the 4th lowest ERA in Major League Baseball. Or not Major League Baseball, in the National League. Counts 0-1 on Didi Gregorius, shortstop of the Phillies, 1 for 2 in this game. Helped drive in the only run for the Phillies. Got an RBI back in the 4th inning on a single, and he grounds that right into the shift. Bobbled by Kendrick, but he still has time. Throws to Thames accurately, and that's out number 2. Samuel Attias, welcome to Major League Baseball's virtual network. Bring back the Expos. I've heard you say that before. But anyway, 2 outs, top of the 7th inning, and now coming to the plate for the Phillies is Jay Bruce. Bruce 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded out in this game off Steven Strasburg. Again, Strasburg with 8 strikeouts in this game alone. And that's strike 1. No ball, 1 strike pitch. Just a bit inside, counts 1-1. Two and 1's the count. Strasburg up to 94 pitches now. Again, Will Harris and Daniel Hudson still warming up at the Nationals bullpen, so Davey Martinez might be making a decision. Strasburg got the first 2 outs rather quickly in this half inning, but falls behind Bruce. It's a hitter's count, 3-1. Outside ball 4. 2-out walk issued to Jay Bruce. And that brings the potential tying run up to the plate as we take a look at Strasburg's scoreline. 6 2/3 innings. He's given up 1 earned run on 2 hits. He's also walked 3, but struck out 8. And Martinez is going to let him pitch to Scott Kingery. Kingery 0 for 2. That's ball 1 outside. Scott Kingery, a former top prospect in the Phillies system. Naturally a shortstop and playing third base because Michael Franco was lost to free agency in the offseason. Counts 2-1. High fly ball out to left field. Soto running out of room. That ball is gone. Scott Kingery tied the game on 1 swing. His 12th home run of the season makes this score a 3-3 tie. Well, it was crucial that Jay Bruce get on. He ended up working a walk, and here's Scott Kingery getting a pitch right over the middle of the plate that he sent deep into left field. He just heard it from the crack of the bat that that one was likely to get out of the ballpark, and it did. So the game's tied at 3 now. Zach Eflin will not get a losing decision in this game. Wander Suero and Rones Ilias, 2 different pitchers now warming up the Nationals bullpen. And Steven Strasburg continues to pitch, now over the century mark on his pitch count. Steven Strasburg had thrown well, had 1 little blemish in the 4th inning, but his offense backed him up. But now glaring issues happening in this 7th inning. He got the first 2 outs quickly, then walked Jay Bruce and threw a fat pitch to Scott Kingery. And Kingery ate it all up, hitting it out of the ballpark and tying the game at 3. Ooh, man, that one leaked over the heart of the plate. Williams was behind it, though. The count's now 1-2 on the pinch hitter for the Phillies. Grounded left side. Trey Turner backends. Throws to Thames. The top of the 7th inning is over. Well, it's time for the 7th inning stretch, but fans might not be as enthusiastic for this reason. Scott Kingery just tied the game with this 2-run home run. After 6.5 innings, it's a tie score, 3-3. Phillies and Nationals playing each other at Nationals Park. And a new pitcher on the mound now for the Phillies. It's Deolis Guerra, making his 58th appearance of the season as a 4.13 ERA in 52 1/3 innings pitched. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Nationals in this half inning. Howie Kendrick, Kurt Suzuki, and Victor Robles. But Zach Eflin completely off the hook now, as that one's fouled off. The count's 0-1. Zach Eflin will not get a decision in this game, because his offense has backed him up late. Steven Strasburg in line for no decision either.
Nope.
Not sure he'll go out for the 8th inning, but if he doesn't go out for the 8th inning, he won't get a decision either. And this was a relatively important game for Strasburg, because if he would have won, he'd have tied Walker Buehler for the top spot in wins in the National League with 12, but that's not looking likely anymore. He might be stuck at 11 going into the All-Star break. On the ground left side, Kingery plays it. Throws to Hoskins. That's out number 1. Oh, Eric Ledford, you got me again. You're right. Sorry, my mind a bit. I didn't think about that. That's right. Yeah, if the Nationals score in this, if the Nationals do score in the bottom of the 7th inning, Strasburg could still be in line for the win. That is true. My apologies. Thank you for mentioning that. No ball, 1 strike count though on Kurt Suzuki, and he hits that one toward left center field. Jay Bruce able to run it down though, and that's 2 outs now in the bottom of the 7th.
Center fielder, number 16, Victor.
So with that, Victor Robles will come to the plate. But first, look at this one again. Jay Bruce, not a diving catch, but that's a valuable catch. He covered a lot of ground to run that one down. So now Victor Robles at the plate, and on the first pitch, he hits it out towards center. McCutchen able to make the catch routinely, and that ends the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on for the Nationals after 7 full innings. It's a 3-3 tie going to the 8th. And there's Davey Martinez coming out of the Nationals dugout, and he's going to talk to the home plate umpire, which means there's likely to be a double switch happening, so let's listen and see what it is.
Now pitching and batting in the 6th spot, number 51, Wander Suero. Now catching and batting 9, number 10, Yan Gomes.
So Davey Martinez electing to give himself an offensive advantage, or give his team an offensive advantage going into the bottom of the 8th inning, but Kurt Suzuki taken out of the game. Yan Gomes is now playing catcher, batting 9th, and Wander Suero and the pitcher's spot inserted 6th in the order. So we'll see what kind of effect that takes on this game. But top of the order do up for the Phillies in this half inning: Gene Segura, Andrew McCutchen, and Bryce Harper. The Phillies took their first lead in the 4th inning, but the Nationals responded with a 3-run inning. That made it 3-1 for a few innings. But in the top of the 7th inning, a 2-out walk to Jay Bruce and a 2-run home run hit by Scott Kingery allowed the Phillies to tie the game at 3. Strasburg finished the 7th inning, but got taken out in this 8th inning, meaning he will get a no decision, and neither will Zach Eflin, the starter for the Phillies. 3-ball, 1 strike count on Gene Segura. But a well-played ball game, though, by both teams. And it's 10 slate. That's ball 4. Leadoff walk issued to Gene Segura.
Up next for Philadelphia.
And with that, Andrew McCutchen will come to the plate.
McCutchen.
Though his averages suffered in recent years, McCutchen,
Your attention, please.
known for getting on base, which is something that he might need to do here. But first, Roman Quinn will run for Gene Segura at first base. So Roman Quinn now representing the tying run, or excuse me, the go-ahead run in this game, and he's got some speed at the end. Suero not taking his eye off him. Quinn not a regular starter, so he's not on the leaderboard for stolen bases in the National League, but trust me when I say he runs well. Hit well toward right center field. Robles running it down. Catch made. That's out number 1. So 1 out, top of the 8th inning. Quinn goes back to first, and there's the starter comparison. Strasburg pitched 1 more inning than Eflin, but each pitcher gave up 3 earned runs. They each got a healthy amount of strikeouts, and they each gave up almost the exact same amount of hits. Here's Bryce Harper. 1 out. And the potential go-ahead run on first base. Grounded to Kendrick. Flips to Turner for 1. Back to first. Double play. Quinn out at second. Harper out at first. The top of the 8th inning over. Wander Suero bailed out of that leadoff walk he issued by inducing a ground ball, which resulted in a double play. Still 3-3 coming into the bottom of the 8th inning, and there you see Josh Harrison playing second base for the Phillies, replacing Roman Quinn, who pinch ran for Gene Segura, who walked leading off the top of the 8th inning. That's National League Baseball for you, all these substitutions and other mind games that are played. Part of the reason why some managers in Major League Baseball have spoken out and are rather saddened by the fact that there will be a universal DH in the 60-game season that's happening in real life.
That's ball two. 2 balls.
Well, that's just the nature of baseball with the coronavirus impacting everybody's life. Toward the middle. Backhanded by Harrison, and
He's out.
the newly entered player in the games typically seems to be a magnet.
Now batting.
Being tested early, and he makes that play. It makes it look routine. Want to cover some range. Didn't like the barehanded. Tried for the backhand. Made an accurate throw to first. 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. Yan Gomes comes up to the plate. Gomes, now the backup catcher for the Nationals. Kurt Suzuki had earned the starting job, but Gomes replaced him after Davey Martinez elected a double switch, which put the pitcher's spot 6th in the order, and Yan Gomes replaced Kurt Suzuki at the catcher position, and Gomes in the number 9 spot in the order.
He's out.
Well played by Gary. Came off the mound,
The batter, number 7. Shortstop.
threw accurately to the first baseman Hoskins.
Turner.
And so 2 quick outs for Guerra in this half inning. Bottom of the 8th, and here comes Trey Turner. Guerra pitched a scoreless 7th for the Phillies, and he got 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Turner got one of the 3 Nationals runs. He hit a solo home run in the 4th inning. The Nationals got all 3 of their runs in the 4th inning. The Phillies split their runs between 2 innings. They got 1 in the 4th and 2 in the 7th. Each team, though, has gotten 1 home run from 1 player.
I got to count 1 and 2.
Counts 1 and 2, but Turner hit it for the Nationals, and Scott Kingery hit a home run for the Phillies. It's up high. Count is even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Three balls.
3 and 2's the count, with Starlin Castro waiting on deck. High and deep out to left, but that's foul. Turner got a good piece of that ball, but out of bounds. Count still full 3 and 2. Swing and a miss. Deolis Guerra pitches 2 scoreless innings against the Nationals, which makes this game still tied at 3. We'll go to the 9th. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. Middle of the order due up for the Phillies in this half inning. Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto, and Didi Gregorius. There's Joe Girardi, the manager, who is giving it to the home plate umpire. Did not appreciate that call on Hoskins. No ball, 1 strike count. Swing and a miss.
0 and 2.
Counts 0 and 2. Down low, counts 1 and 2.
2 strikes.
We got a knotted up ball game coming into the 9th inning. Wander Suero still on the mound for the Nationals. He pitched a scoreless 8th inning. Whoa, that's out to left. Close to the foul pole. And it just landed foul. Man, a break for the Nationals. Just a really long foul ball. Line to left. That one's foul. Another break for the Nationals. Man. One, 2. Down low. Counts 2 and 2. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Rhys Hoskins, the first baseman of the Phillies. Got him to chase it. Rhys Hoskins struck a couple balls as well. Could have had extra base hits on either of them had they stayed fair, but they went foul, and Suero comes right back and strikes him out. So 1 out, top of the 9th inning. Here's JT Realmuto. 0 for 3. Struck out in his most recent at bat. Was back in the 7th inning. And he swings through that pitch there. Counts 0-1. Realmuto 3 for 9 with a home run and 5 RBIs in the whole series, but all that offensive production was yesterday. Realmuto was an active role player in the 12-1 Phillies victory yesterday. This is game 2 of a 3-game series. The Phillies won game 1 yesterday, 12-1. We're knotted up at 3 here in game 2. We're in the last inning of regulation. Swing and a miss, counts 1-2. 1-ball, 2-strike count on the Phillies catcher. Out at foul, the count's still 1-2. Fly ball into right. Michael Taylor under it. He makes the catch. That's out number 2.
Up next for Philadelphia, the shortstop.
So that'll bring up the number 6 hitter for the Phillies, Didi Gregorius. Hit an RBI single in the 4th inning, accounting for one of the 3 Phillies runs. Wander Suero, and with an opportunity to pitch his second scoreless inning of this game. He pitched a scoreless 8th inning in relief of Steven Strasburg. Again, Zach Eflin and Steven Strasburg will not get decisions in this game. One 0 count. Against the shift, but played by Castro. He used to play short. Oh, that was a close play, but Gregorius beats it out. Not unfamiliar territory for Castro. Again, he used to play shortstop. Was converted to a second baseman in 2015. That's where he played when he was with the Yankees and the Marlins. And now in the Nationals, he's played more third base, but in a shifted position, he's playing more around the shortstop position. So, not surprising to see him attempt a jump throw with that kind of finesse. So 1-ball, no-strike count on Jay Bruce. Was a big part of the 7th inning when the Phillies scored 2 runs. When Strasburg got 2 quick outs, Bruce stayed disciplined, worked a walk, which was later followed by the Scott Kingery 2-run home run that tied the game. And a reason why we're in this position right now.
3 balls, no strike.
There will be a bottom of the 9th inning no matter what. It's just a matter of whether the Phillies will have a lead or not. 3-ball, no-strike pitch. That's a strike, counts 3-1. And I haven't always been conscious to this when thinking about baseball. And this might sound obvious to some of you, but that is such a big reason, whether you think about it a lot or not, that home field advantage is so important, because scoring a run late in the game or having a lead late in the game as the home team ends the game immediately. But if you're the away team, you could pile on so many insurance runs, but no matter how many you pile on, the home team always has a chance to come back in the bottom half of an inning. It's another reason why baseball is so fascinating. I mean, you think about other sports where there's still a clock, and you might be playing in front of your home fans, but the game itself is not intruded by home field advantage. Baseball, that's different. One of the reasons why it's one of the more unique sports out there. But Suero gets Bruce to strike out. No runs, no hits, one walk, and one runner left on base, excuse me. But even score lines going into the bottom of the ninth inning. Each team has scored 3 runs on 4 hits. And there's Joe Girardi out to talk to the home plate umpire. So listen for the double switch.
These changes for Philadelphia. Now pitching and batting in the 7th spot, number 55. Now playing lefty and batting 9, number 12, Neil Walker.
So an interesting move for the Phillies, but Neil Walker is now playing left field and batting in the number 9 spot. Ranger Suarez is now pitching for the Phillies, and the pitcher spot is now 7th in the order. Walker's been mostly in infield for his career. But the Phillies, Joe Girardi, putting him out in left. Popped up, caught by Scott Kingery. That's out number 1.
The left fielder, number 22.
So Starlin Castro pops out. 1 out, bottom of the 9th inning, and here's Juan Soto. 1 for 3 in this game. He singled and later scored a run. He scored on Kurt Suzuki's 2-run double. That was back in the 4th inning. The Nationals, the last time they scored was in the 4th inning. They got all 3 of their runs in the 4th. The Phillies got their first run in the top of the 4th inning, and they got 2 runs in the top of the 7th. This game tied at 3. Counts 1-1. Swing and a miss. Counts 1-2. Swing and a miss. Crucial strikeout for Ranger Suarez.
Now batting, first baseman, Perez.
Juan Soto terminated in that at bat. So 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, and here's Eric Thames standing between the Phillies in extra innings. Counts 1-1. Eric Thames, former Toronto Blue Jay and Milwaukee Brewer. Was on the wild card roster, too, when the Brewers played the Nationals at this very same ballpark in the 2019 wild card game. The same game that the Nationals made a late comeback and went on to win, which started the chain of events that led to them winning the World Series. But now Thames playing for the quote-unquote enemy. Playing for the reigning World Series champions. 3-ball, 2-strike count. That's fouled away, so the count's still full 3-2 on Thames, the first baseman of the Nationals. He and Ryan Zimmerman are platoon first baseman. And Thames got the start because he's a left-handed hitter and Eflin was a righty. Fly ball into center. McCutchen makes the catch. The bottom of the 9th inning is over, and the score is still tied at 3. And it's an even score line at that as well. After 9 full innings, it's a 3-3 score. We'll go to the first extra inning of this ball game. And here's Davey Martinez coming out for the second time. And we'll talk to the home plate umpire. Here comes another double switch. Let's listen and see who it includes.
These changes for Washington. Now pitching and batting in the 4th spot, Number 55, Loenis Elliott. Now playing first base and batting sixth. Number 11, Ryan Zimmerman.
So Ryan Zimmerman is batting in the 6th spot and playing first base, and now the Nationals pitcher spot is 4th in the order. Castro throws to Zimmerman. Kingery's out on one pitch.
Now batting, the left fielder, Neil Walker.
So one out, top of the 10th inning, and here comes Neil Walker making his first plate appearance of the game. Walker playing left field. He came in for Jay Bruce defensively in the 9th inning. So again, he's getting his first plate appearance in here. Switch hitter batting from the right side, though his career numbers have shown that he is a much better hitter against right-handed pitching batting left-handed than he is batting right-handed against left-handed pitching. Walker, a former Pittsburgh Pirate, was a great hitter with them from 2013 to 2015. Was traded from the Pirates to the Mets in the 2015-16 offseason. Played for the Mets for a few years, then got traded to the Brewers. Signed with the Yankees in the 2017-2018 offseason. Played primarily first base for them. Soft ground ball. Played by Thames, that's out number 2. He played for the Marlins last year, though, and signed with the Phillies this past offseason. But 2 outs, top of the 10th inning, and here comes Josh Harrison. Also getting his first plate appearance in this game. Harrison came in as a defensive replacement for Roman Quinn, who pinch ran for Gene Segura earlier on. So Harrison now playing second base. Popped into the air, Yan Gomes seems to have a play. He makes the catch, and the top of the 10th inning ends rather quickly. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on for the Phillies, and now the Nationals, still with the score tied, have a chance to walk it off in the bottom of the 10th. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. This is an extra inning affair between the Phillies and the Nationals. A matchup of the NL East variety. The number 1 team in the NL East in the Washington Nationals playing the number 4 team in the Philadelphia Phillies. Fouled off, count 0-2 on Howie Kendrick. The Phillies entering play are 43-51, and the Nationals entering play are 53-42. Inside, that got Kendrick. That puts the potential winning run on base. Kendrick staring down Elias a bit, but I can't see too many scenarios where that's intentional. But a free base runner for the Nationals, and now Wilmer Difo comes off the bench, and he'll pinch run. He runs rather well, especially better than Howie Kendrick does. And now here's Ryan Zimmerman with his first plate appearance of the game coming here. Lined into center. That's a base hit. McCutchen gets that one in quickly. The Nationals are set up well. It's first and second, nobody out. And it's strategy time for Davey Martinez. Victor Robles just 1 hit in the series, no hits in this game. So strategy might dictate that the sacrifice bunt would be beneficial for the Nationals. But we'll see what Robles elects to execute. Difo on second, and there is a bunt. But it's foul, and it was a drag bunt too, not a sacrifice. Counts 0-1. But Difo on second, and Zimmerman on first. Toward the middle. Nice flip by Josh Harrison. The Gregorius for 1 back to Hoskins. That's a double play. Zimmerman out at second, and Robles out at first base. So the bunt didn't work out on pitch number 1. Robles swings at pitch number 2 in that at bat. Harrison with a great flip to Gregorius, who turned that double play nicely. However, the Phillies not quite out of trouble. Because even though 2 outs were recorded on the play, Wilmer Difo advanced from second to third. So that winning run, that potential winning run at third base. And here's Michael Taylor. Here's Suarez's pitch. Right over the middle of that strike one. Hector Neris, the Phillies closer. And Jose Alvarez now warming up. Double-barreled action in the bullpen. Down low, counts 1-1. By the way, Yan Gomes would bat next. That one's hit well to right center. Harper able to make the catch. 10 innings not enough to complete this ball game. The Nationals strand their potential winning run in scoring position. Going into the 11th, we've still got a 3-3 game.
Your attention, please.
Wilmer Difo takes over at second base for Howie Kendrick, and Difo pinch ran for Kendrick, but Difo a middle infielder anyway, so second base is a position he's well versed in. Now for the Phillies, their heart of the order coming up, 2-3-4 hitters, the first to bat in this half inning. Andrew McCutchen, Bryce Harper, and Rhys Hoskins. Ronis Elias still on the mound. Now he's got a tough part of the order to face. He's subject to being replaced, but will face 2 right-handers to begin this inning. Fouled off, count 1-1. Inside, counts 2-1. Andrew McCutchen has had a consistent part of his game throughout his entire career, and that is his ability to get on base. Through the younger parts of his career, the time when he was breaking into the league in 2009, he's been able to get on base. Now, he's excelled at other parts of his game throughout his career too, but just one constant as he was younger and as he's aged is the ability to get on base. And look at that. Leadoff single for Andrew McCutchen. So the potential go-ahead run for the Phillies on first base with a notorious run producer coming to the plate. It's Bryce Harper. Counts 0-1. But Bryce Harper played the first part of his career with the Nationals. The year after he left and went to a new team, the Nationals went on to win a World Series. And I watched an interview online with Bryce Harper that talked about his decision-making in that free agency period when he was a free agent in 2018 and 2019. And he talked about how the Nationals had given him an offer that he didn't want to accept. But then they invested that Harper money into Patrick Corbin and a few other pieces. But Harper said that when he heard the Nationals went out and signed Patrick Corbin, which was unexpected at the time, that he knew that the Nationals had a good chance of winning the World Series because he knew from playing in D.C. that the Nationals were always a pitcher away from going deep into the postseason, and the Nationals got their pitcher. Zimmerman to Turner, over to Elias covering. That's a double play.
The first baseman.
Bryce Harper grounds into a double play. Zimmerman, being right-handed, had to throw that awkwardly, but he made an accurate throw to Turner. Returned that double play at second nicely, and Elias quickly over to first to cover. So Andrew McCutchen out at second, Bryce Harper out at first. 2 outs on 1 play. Still in the top of the 11th, and here's Rhys Hoskins. Hoskins 1 for 4 as he fouls that pitch off. The count's 0-1. Foul ball, count 0-2. The infield shifting Hoskins. Expecting him to pull the ball, so they're shifted toward the left side of the infield. Got him swinging. The top of the 11th inning is over. Ronis Ilias pitches another scoreless inning. Going into the bottom of the 11th. Still have a 3-3 score, and look at that. The score line's even again.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention
Jose Alvarez will now pitch for the Phillies. Coming into the bottom of the 11th inning. He's making his 58th appearance of the season. Has a 2.75 ERA and 55 2/3 innings pitched. This game much more evenly matched than yesterday's. This is game 2 of a 3-game series. The Phillies won yesterday's game 12-1. Now we have a 3-3 score. And we're officially in extra innings. Not just one extra inning, but this is extra inning number 2. And it counts 2-0 on Yan Gomes, 0 for 1. He came into the game late, though. It was part of a double switch. It took Kurt Suzuki out. But Gomes catching and batting 9th. So it counts 2-1 on him. Jose Alvarez, a former Detroit Tiger, has been pitching for the Phillies for a few seasons now. Veteran left-hander on the mound. Count even up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Nationals haven't scored since the 4th inning. The Phillies also scored in the 1st, but they put up 2 runs in the 7th. That was when they tied the game. 2-ball, 2-strike count. That's foul. The count's still 2-2, but the Nationals and Phillies both scored in the 4th. The Phillies got an RBI single from Didi Gregorius. That made it 1-0. Then the Nats scored their 3 in the bottom of the 4th. Trey Turner hit a solo home run. You see he's on deck. And then Kurt Suzuki hit a 2-run double. That made it 3-1. And then in the 7th inning, the top of the 7th, Jay Bruce walked against Steven Strasburg, and then Scott Kingery hit a 2-run home run off Strasburg. That tied the game at 3. Steven Strasburg not able to earn his 12th win of the season. He's still at 11, and Zach Eflin also will not get a decision in this game. It will be bullpen decisions. Just a matter of who blinks first. Well, not necessarily, now that I think about it. Swing and a miss. Jose Alvarez starts his outing out nicely with a strikeout. Took 9 pitches, though. Here comes Trey Turner. Just one hit in this game, but it was an important one, a solo home run. And Harrison makes the catch on the line drive. That's out number 2.
Now batting, third baseman, Starlin Castro.
Here comes Starlin Castro, who's 0 for 4. He lined out in his last at bat in the 9th inning. His averages dropped down to 234, getting no hits in this game.
Ball.
Counts 1-0 on a veteran infielder of the Nationals, and what a swing that was. One ball, 1 strike count. That's strike 2. Well, we might see a 12th inning with Castro down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alvarez fresh out of the bullpen. Grounded right side. Past Hoskins, but Harrison backs that play up. Throws to Alvarez covering first. That's the 3rd out of the 11th inning. So 11, not enough to complete this game. We'll go to inning number 12, still a 3-3 score. Phillies and Nationals playing each other at Nationals Park. Well, there's Davey Martinez again. Another double switch happening in this game. Each team has executed at least one double switch. And let's listen in to see what the Nationals are doing.
Number 36, Will Harris. Now playing third base and batting fourth. Number 13, Asdrubal.
All right, so Asdrubal Cabrera now playing third base and batting fourth. Will Harris now pitching and batting in the number 2 spot. Starlin Castro's out of the game. It's fouled off, the count 0-1. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Phillies in this half inning. JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius. And I think the pitcher spot's coming up in this half inning, so we might see a pinch hitter for the Phillies. No ball, 2-strike count on Realmuto. That's foul. The count's still 0-2. This game's still relatively important for the Phillies. But if the Nationals lose this game, there will be a rippling effect in the division. The Marlins beat the Mets today, so the Marlins now a game back in the division with a 52-43 record. But the Nationals haven't gotten a result yet, so if the Nationals lose this game, the Marlins will move to within a half game of the Nationals. So strikeout by Will Harris, JT Realmuto down. That's out number 1. So 1 out, top of the 12th inning. And that'll bring up Didi Gregorius. Gregorius 2 for 4 in this game. He also has an RBI. He hit an RBI single back in inning number 4. Hunter Strickland and Daniel Hudson warming up in the Nationals bullpen. But Will Harris on the mound. Harris, a former Houston Astro. Signed with the Nationals this past offseason. Rather interesting decision. I'm sure it was a good fit for him and helped him become financially stable. But Harris gave up a home run to Howie Kendrick in Game 7 of the World Series that helped the Nationals get ahead, and the Nationals ended up winning Game 7. But now Harris playing for the team that beat the Astros, the team he was on last year.
Now batting, the pitcher,
anyway, a 1-out walk issued to Didi Gregorius, and as I mentioned, the number 7 spot occupied by the pitcher right now. So here comes a pinch hitter for the Phillies with the potential go-ahead run on first base. It'll be Andrew Knapp. He's the backup catcher for the Phillies. Counts 1-0 on Andrew Knapp. Counts 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out, top of the 12th. Knapp, a pinch hitter, switch hitter batting from the left side, and again, he's the backup catcher for the Phillies. So, desperate times, calling for some desperate measures. This game being extended. Fouled off, the count 1-2. Well, the Phillies are running out of members of their bench, as are the Nationals for that matter. The Nationals had 5 bench players. The Phillies had 6. Swing and a miss. That's out number 2 as Knapp chased that pitch. There are now 2 outs in the top of the 12th inning.
The third baseman, number 4, Scott Kingery.
And Scott Kingery comes up to the plate. Just trying to think. So the Phillies on their bench, they've used Nick Williams, they've used Josh Harrison, they've used Neil Walker, they've used Andrew Knapp. As that one's fouled off, the count 0-1. Logan Forsythe is the only player that I can think of that's still on the Phillies bench. for the Nationals, they used Wilmer Difo, they used John Gomes, they used Ryan Zimmerman, and they used Wilmer Difo. The Nationals don't have any more position-playing bench players. That's out towards center field. As played by Victor Robles. The top of the 12th inning has come to an end. No runs, no hits, one walk in the inning, one runner left on. After 11 and a half innings of play, it's still a 3-3 tie. Here's Adam Morgan coming out of the bullpen for the Phillies. Making his 32nd appearance of the season, as a 1.42 ERA and 31 2/3 innings pitched. Quite a tight game here that doesn't only mean anything for the game itself, for the victory between these two teams, but this will have a rippling effect in the NL East if the Nationals lose this game. But they're on the offensive right now, and this game's still tied. No ball, one strike count. Adam Morgan just got taken out of the Phillies bullpen. And middle of the order, due up for the Nats. Juan Soto, Eric Thames, and Wilmer Difo. No, I lied about that too. I'm sorry, there have been so many double switches in this game. But Eric Thames got taken out. Asdrubal Cabrera is batting in the fourth spot, so let me reiterate. Juan Soto batting now. Asdrubal Cabrera due up next, and then Wilmer Difo due up third in the half inning. Grounded right side. Josh Harrison plays. Throws to Rhys Hoskins. That's out number one. So one out bottom of the 12th inning, and Asdrubal Cabrera will come to the plate. Switch hitter will bat from the right side. Okay, so now that I've looked at the roster here, to clarify now, the Nationals still have Wellington Castillo on the bench, but he's it. They have used everybody else, every other position player on their bench. That's lined into right field, and in his first plate appearance, Asdrubal Cabrera gets himself a single. And he's aboard with one out.
Now batting, the second baseman, Wilmer Difo.
So here comes Wilmer Difo, getting his first at bat of the game. He pinch ran after Howie Kendrick hit a single earlier in the game and then just stayed in to play second base. Okay, so the Nationals only have Wellington Castillo on the bench for their team. The Phillies have used Harrison, have used Walker. They used Quinn. They've had a few more substitutions, but the only player that is left on their bench is Logan Forsythe. Everybody else has been used, so each team has one position player left on their bench. No ball, two strike pitch, swing and a miss.
Now batting, first baseman, Ryan Zimmerman.
And this is quite the game. The potential winning run on first base in the form of Asdrubal Cabrera. Here comes Ryan Zimmerman, who in his only at-bat of the game got a single. But he came in as a part of a double switch. He replaced Eric Thames at first base. And to his advantage, he's facing another left-hander out of the bullpen. Oh, one pitch. That's foul. The count 0-2. Adam Morgan a strike away from sending this game to the 13th inning. No ball, two strike pitch. High fly ball toward right field. Bryce Harper under the ball. He makes the catch, and 12 innings, not enough for this game to come to an end. We'll go to inning number 13 in this game We're still tied at 3. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 9-1-2 hitters due up for the Phillies in this half inning. Neil Walker, Josh Harrison, and Andrew McCutchen, all former Pirates, all scheduled to bat against Will Harris in this half inning, though Harris is eligible to be replaced since he pitched the full 12th inning, the full top of the 12th. Also, Will the Thrill, welcome. Glad you're a baseball fan and glad you found us. I appreciate you watching this game. And you tuned into a pretty good game as well, that's for certain. But again, thanks for joining us. This is Major League Baseball's virtual network. My name's Nicholas Callis. This game and all of our games brought to you by MLB The Show 20. And don't forget, we feature 3 guaranteed games every day, which won't necessarily be the case next week because it's the All-Star break. But on a normal week, we feature 3 games every day in an effort to get all teams featured at least once every week. But Neil Walker just struck out. Now here's Josh Harrison. Fouls that pitch off. The count's 0-1. Harrison came in and played second base after Gene Segura was pinch ran for by Roman Quinn. And each team getting stretched thinly here in extra innings. Bullpens are being depleted, as are position players. As Asdrubal Cabrera makes the catch. That's out number 2 in the top of the 13th inning. And here comes Andrew McCutchen, who got a hit in his last at bat. Is back in the 11th inning. It seemed like this game was starting off quickly as well. Strasburg and Eflin looked to be on. And the fun part about this game is that of the 3 runs that each team has scored, neither bullpen gave up any of those 3 runs. Strasburg got hit with 3 earned runs, and Zach Eflin got hit with 3 earned runs. The bullpen so far, of the pitchers that have come in for both bullpens, they've thrown scoreless innings. Swing and a miss. Andrew McCutchen strikes out to end the top of the 13th inning. My goodness. Well, without Philadelphia scoring, the Nationals have an opportunity to walk it off again. We'll go to the bottom of the 13th inning. This game's still knotted up at 3. You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network, brought to you by MLB The Show 20. I'm Nicholas Callis. 7, 8, 9 hitters due up in the Nationals order. Victor Robles, Michael Taylor, and Yan Gomes. Robles tries to bunt. That's a fair ball. Realmuto fields, throws, not in time. Victor Robles beats out the bunt single, and that's a dangerous runner to have on base with nobody out. And here's Michael Taylor. No hits and 4 official at-bats, but Taylor bunts. This is sacrifice attempt. Morgan elects to get the out at first base, so he flips to Hoskins. Taylor out at first. But that a great executed sacrifice bunt by Michael Taylor. That moves Victor Robles into scoring position with 1 out. Now here's Yan Gomes. 0 for 2 since he's entered the game, but it's basically like he played in his own game. He's gotten the minimum of 3 plate appearances. And Mets 2-1-2-8. Yeah, this is a spot where a hit wins it, especially since Victor Robles is a strong runner out at second base. By the way, Mets 2-1-2-8. I'm sorry that the Marlins beat the Mets today, at least for your sake. I don't know if there are any Marlins fans in the chat. This is a good game earlier, too. Not as good as this one, but the Marlins still fighting for the NL East lead. That's why it's crucial that the Nationals win this game. That's up the middle, base hit. Robles coming around. McCutchen throws it a cutoff man. Robles scores. This game is over. Yan Gomes with his first hit of the game allows the Nationals to win. Adam Morgan giving up the winning base hit. And what a game that was. The Nationals able to pull off a 4-3 win against the Phillies in Game 2 of this series. The series now split heading into tomorrow, where a rubber match will decide who wins it. Oh, Trey Turner, player of the game. There's the Gatorade. Yeah. Turner didn't do too much, but there was this hit that he had here, which turned out to be pivotal. This solo home run in the 4th inning that tied the game at 1 at the time. Of course, each team went on to get 2 more runs around the interim of this game. But final score 4-3. The Nationals win this one, and Trey Turner, player of the game, mainly for hitting that solo home run, getting the Nationals on the board. And as you've seen now, the Nationals went on to win it. Well, this has been Major League Baseball's Virtual Network. We'll go over the scoring recap quickly in a moment, but it's quite a game this was. Will Harris gets the win on the mound out of the bullpen. Adam Morgan got the loss. A 13-inning affair ends with the Nationals walking it off on a Yan Gomes RBI single. But we'll go and backtrack, give you a quick scoring recap on this game.
They left 3 men on base.
In the top of the 4th inning, the Phillies broke through against Steven Strasburg. They got a walk and a few hits, including 1 hit from Didi Gregorius that drove home a run that gave the Phillies a 1-0 lead. The Nationals responded almost immediately in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Nats scored 3 runs, 1 on a Trey Turner solo home run, and then 2 on an RBI double from Kurt Suzuki. So it was 3-1 up until the 7th inning. Steven Strasburg had gotten 2 outs quickly in the top of the 7th, but he walked Jay Bruce and then gave up a home run to Scott Kingery. That tied the game at 3, and that's one of the primary reasons why this game went into extra innings. But 9 wasn't enough, 10, 11, 12 weren't enough. Bottom of the 13th, though, Victor Robles bunted himself on base. Michael Taylor executed a sac bunt, getting Robles into scoring position. And then Yan Gomes, with his first hit of the game, he hit a single on the ground up the middle, which scored Robles from second base. And it gave the Nationals the 4-3 victory after 13 innings. And that pretty much sums it up. This has been a presentation of Major League Baseball's Virtual Network. This game and all of our games brought to you by MLB The Show 20. My name's Nicholas Callis. We'll have a schedule for you for the All-Star break schedule, as well as all the other games that will happen next week. That is coming out tonight. So check out and see when the All-Star game times will be, when the Home Run Derby time will be, and when the Futures game will be. The Futures game scheduled to be on Monday with the Home Run Derby, and then the All-Star game will be its own event on Tuesday. So look forward to those, and then check out all the games that will be surrounding the Home Run Derby, the Futures game, and the All-Star game. But rosters will be posted soon for both All-Star teams, for the Futures game teams, and a Home Run Derby participants list will be posted as well, both to Twitter and to YouTube, just to make sure everybody knows what's going on at all times on all different media. But again, I'm Nicholas Callis saying goodbye from Nationals Park. Again, this has been Major League Baseball's Virtual Network. Final score, the Nationals beat the Phillies after 13 innings by a 4-3 final score.